Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to show you a cake. This time we're going to focus more on the actual sugar flowers, just for a little something different. And this was for an actual wedding. So the color was royal blue with some gold edible lace and some red sugar flowers. So this is the way I typically like to make my standard medium to large roses. I like to start with a foam center. You can roll gum paste into a center cone if you prefer and let it dry overnight. But I like to speed things up, and nobody's actually, let's be honest, nobody's actually eating these flowers. So there can be some inedible elements to it as long as you're communicating with the customer. So the fast way for me to do it is I like to go ahead and start with the centers already made out of foam. And then I use some floral wire. This is 26 gauge, I believe. Maybe 24 gauge wire. And I just hot glue these, the wire inside of the foam. Now these cool immediately. You can work with them right away. And now I'm going to make my petals. This is all these tools I use. I use the 5-petal cutter, then some single cutters. I have some cornstarch, some shortening, a flower or a petal cover, and a rolling pin, small rolling pin. And this, I'm showing you here that is a great way to keep your petals soft while you're waiting to work on them. Then I have some gum paste that's just colored with AmeriColor Super Red. And in here, the blue little silicone bowl, I have just water. A lot of people will tell you to mix some Tylose or put a little bit of your gum paste, some white gum paste into the water to make a glue. But honestly, I find it works fine, just straight water. I do not have a problem with it. Now we're rolling out this gum paste very thin. If it were white, you'd almost be able to see, well, really, you'd be able to see the pattern of the table underneath it, through it. So I don't know what thickness that would be. Get it as thin as you can get it without it ripping, basically. And then I do 2 of these per rose. Now I'm going to show you making one single rose. I don't need to bore you with showing you all of them. It's the same technique on all of them. So for each rose, I have 2 of the 5-petal cutters. Now to make sure that this is large enough, you hold the center foam from side to side inside of one of your petals on this. And if it reaches from side to side, the tip of the bud and the base of the bud fits inside there sideways, then it's the right size. And I like to use my foam there. It's just mattress pad that's never been used for anything else. To thin out your petals with a ball tool. You just roll it halfway on the gum paste, halfway on the foam. And that's the way you get the ruffled effect on your petals and they get thinned out, makes them look more realistic. Then I just pull up 2 of the petals, cross them over each other, nice and tight. You don't want to be able to see that foam through the center. And then you pull up your 3 other ones. Can you see that there? The center is 2. And then there's 3 wrapped around it. Keep it nice and tight in the middle because real roses are very tight in the middle. There's a lot of petals in there. Sometimes when your flowers look a little bit too artificial, it's because they aren't tight enough in the middle. And then we did the same thing with our second 5-petal piece, and we're just overlapping them. One tucked inside the other. Can you see that? How it's tucked in, tucked in, tucked in. All the way around. Then we set that aside and let it firm up a little bit. And then we're going to do the following petals. 2, maybe 1 or 2 more rows of petals I like to do. And you stick with your odd numbers. So you do the 3, the 5, the 7, and then sometimes you can do another row, 7 or 9. And if as you're going, you don't need all those petals or you do need more, just go with it. Go with how it's looking. And then I am thinning out the edges of all these, and I'm placing them inside. That's actually an deviled egg tray. You can use spoons, large spoons, to help your petals dry. Because if you're working with them when they are really soft, you're going to have a little trouble. For me, anyway, it helps to have them somewhat already firmed up a little bit to hold their shape. And for the very outside row of petals, I like to use a skewer or the end of a paintbrush to kind of roll up the edges. Don't know if you can see that yet because I have something in my way here. When I'm editing, there's a screen that's kind of covering part of the screen. So basically you use a skewer to roll it up and then place it over the spoons. I put a little shortening on the spoons and inside the deviled egg tray to get them to stick in there while they're firming up. And then I would leave them, here you can see where I'm kind of twisting it around, just wrapping it around at the end of a skewer. I only do that on the outside layer. And you don't have to do it 2 times on each petal either. You can just do it on one side if you want to. Now I leave these to set up for about 30 minutes. And then I go back in with some more of the water and I just dampen the inside. Not all the way to the tip, about half to 2/3 of the way up. And on this row, I like to do it a little different. I like to put 3 evenly spaced around and then 2 I don't know, that's not right. I think I did 3 evenly spaced around, and then on top of that, I did another row of 3, so that it's a little bit more irregular. Can you see that? It's a little bit more irregular on that row. Again, for to make it look realistic. And then our last row, these are the largest petals. And I just do the same thing that I did on the second to last row on these, I believe. Because I want them to kind of drape open a little bit. I don't want them to be too closed. I don't want them to be too perfect. I want them to have kind of a natural opening to them. And I just wrap some saran wrap around the base to hold them up while they dry. And if some of your petals droop down further than you think you want it to, you might be surprised. When you take that saran wrap off, it might look even better. And then I'm just using some of my petal dust, a little bit darker of a red inside the nooks and crannies and along the outside edges. Just add a more dimension of color. And then I do like to steam them. This is after they have dried overnight, guys. I do the petal dust and the steaming the second day. I like to steam them. It sets the color and it takes any of that extra cornstarch off. And it just kind of makes them a little shinier. They will dry more on the matte side again, but it's pretty. I like it. And then I'm just showing you the frosting of 1 tier because there's 4 tiers. Again, we'd be going on forever here. This would be a 30-minute video. I don't think anybody wants to watch me frost cakes for 30 minutes. So I'm just using my American buttercream. And I added just royal blue food coloring to it. This is my first coat. Big tiers can be a little intimidating. I usually show you the small ones, but I want you to see a large one this time. They can be a little intimidating just because of the bulk factor, but I find that it's almost easier to smooth. Maybe it's because I'm used to it. And then I flipped it upside down. I have to put the cake drums underneath this one. Now I just hot glued 2 of them together. The thicker boards there, I hot glued 2 of them together, then I put a little piece of masking tape, rolled up, not a little one, but a piece of masking tape rolled up underneath the cake, then put the boards on top of there, and then I, muster up a lot of courage and flip it over as fast as you can to get it right side up. And this tier has been chilled, as always, so it was easy to handle, and then I do my second coat. Now, I do find sometimes, and I don't know if you guys find this too, when you chill your cakes, which is kind of a necessity, sometimes when you do a second coat on there, you can kind of get that streaky look. Now, when it comes to room temperature and you get a little condensation, sometimes some of that goes away, but sometimes it doesn't. And that's just because you're scraping buttercream off of a chilled surface and it kind of gives it that kind of a streaky look. I don't mind it so much. If it bothers you, you could always go in with airbrush color and airbrush the entire thing to get a uniform color. I think that would be pretty. Maybe I should have. Hindsight. Anyway, now this gold edible lace was purchased. My boss purchased it online. I will see if I can find it. I do like to make my edible lace, but sometimes when you have a lot of orders like we did that week, you take your shortcuts where you can. And she couldn't find any single pieces, like the individual pieces of that lace, that type of lace. So she just found the bigger one and I cut it down. And I am tiering my cake, and I'm using bubble tea straws, and I'm using some of the thicker plastic dowels. I like to do the thicker plastic dowels on the outside and the bubble tea straws on the inside. I have found that when I do it this way with the cookie cutter, the star cookie cutter, where I mark out my 5 points and then do 5 in between, it works great for all size tiers or cakes. You just move your dowels out a little further on the bigger ones. And we had a little bit of condensation going, so my edible lace stuck right to it with no problems. If your cake is dry, you can just brush a little bit of piping gel on the back of them to get them to stick. That works well too. And after you get your lace on, I do recommend chilling in the refrigerator. A dry fridge. People ask me a lot if I have problems with condensation, and yeah, of course you're going to have some condensation. But I find actually a residential fridge seems to be way drier, way less humid than a commercial fridge. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because the commercial ones are open and closed more, if it's just a setting thing, I don't know, but the residential fridges work best for me. And even if you do get condensation, once your cake sits out, it's gonna dry. They always do. Now these flowers are on the wires. You can wrap those wires with floral tape if you feel that that's more food safe. You can put a straw inside of your cake and then put your flower in there. But since this is gonna have to travel all assembled, I don't want to use a straw because then they're a little too loosey-goosey. I don't feel as secure with them on there. So I just went ahead and used a little buttercream and then stuck the wire directly in there. And then I had made some random, just extra petals. That's another tip that I like to do, like the bigger ones that you used at the bottom of the rose. Make some extra ones so that you can tuck them in and hide any buttercream or any big open gaps that you tend to get when you're putting gum paste flowers on a cake because they're hard. They don't conform to the shape of the cake. So there it is, guys, all done. I hope you liked it. Hope you got something as always. And I appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch my video. And if you'd like to watch some other videos, go ahead and click on the link to one of these other videos shown here. And if you would like to check out my other social media, I am on Facebook and Instagram under the same name, Sophisticakes by Mary. And please take the time to share, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you know when I upload another video. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you on the next tutorial.